Hey everybody, this video is going to be a little different from my typical video, as you can tell by the title. And this is just something I really wanted to get off my chest because I've been feeling this way for a long time. So let me start. Just as a quick disclaimer, I don't hate fat people and I don't hate myself because clearly I'm fat. I'm very overweight. And this doesn't apply to everybody. This is just general speaking. First of all, I have to say that there's no need for people to be fat. Once upon a time, people will get fat over the winter or any other time or during a dry season because of famine in certain countries. But now in modern society, there's no need for us to get fat because more than likely there's not a famine. Now, this doesn't apply to countries that live in food deserts or places where sometimes there literally is a famine, which are mostly rural, very rural places in Africa and Asia. But if you live in the Western world, where I live in America, you're not really going to suffer a famine. Also, the body can't take fat. Our anatomy doesn't really support being overweight. The more overweight you get, the harder it is on your bones and your joints and your entire body. I know from experience. I've been slim and I've been fat. I've been slim again and then fat again. The fattest I've ever been now. And it's just hard on you. It's harder on your knees. It's harder on your arms. It can be hard on your back, your legs, hard on your feet. I know especially since I have flat feet. It's harder on my feet. It's just harder on everything that you do. I can feel how my weight affects me. I can't jump around like I could when I was slimmer. I can't do simple exercises or exercises like burpees because I'll just destroy my knees. There's so many things I can't do. Even when I sit down for a long time, it gets very uncomfortable. My tailbone starts to hurt. My legs start to hurt. My legs fall asleep easier. It's just so much harder on your body. And the human body is not meant to support that much weight. It's only meant to support your lowest possible weight, which varies depending on the person, height and all those other factors. But if you're anything over that, then you're going to be much harder on your body. So I don't understand why people think it's okay to be fat. It's not okay to be fat. Usually fat also means you're unhealthy. A lot of times the fatter you are, that means the more fat, of course, you're intaking or you taking into your diet. And that's going to cause a lot of health issues. Most of the times, not all the time, but most of the time when people are fat, there's other fat going on in their body that they can't see, like clogging of your arteries, which can cause so many problems like heart disease, stroke, diabetes. People have all types of problems when they're fatter. And that's just a short list. I mean, the list goes on. The more fat that you store, that it correlates with diet. So fat equals bad diet, and bad diet means health problems. That's basically what it boils down to. It can also cause problems like cancer, believe it or not. So not only is it hard on your body physically, but it's hard on your body internally. When people think that they like being fat, I know that's not true because nobody really likes being fat. Nobody starts out like being fat, and nobody I don't think most people live on liking being fat. And here's why I say this. Every person I've known who's ever been obese or fat, all of them has had problems with self-confidence issues. Anytime it comes to doubting their confidence, it always goes down to their size. Even people who are born fat, throughout their life, they get bullied all the time and they realize that they don't like being fat. And they do feel that it's harder on their body, and they do realize that they can't keep up with other kids, especially if you're a child growing up fat. They can't keep up with other children, and then the older they get, they realize if you're a female, more men are attracted to slimmer females, and the same thing vice versa. Not saying all of them, but that's just the general way. And it's like something they had to learn to love. Now I understand there is sometimes where you have to deal with race issues when people are born, being African American or something, and you might hate yourself because of the racial society that we live in America. But that's something totally different. People truly are born the race they are, but you're not truly born fat. Even if you've been fat your entire life, it's not because you were born that way. It was because your mother fed you the wrong foods, and that's something that you can change. It's also not accepted in fashion, and I don't think that. And I know why it's not accepted in fashion. It's more than just the whole fat doesn't look as good. In fashion, what most people don't know is that the bigger you are, the more fabric or cloth that has to be used. The more cloth that has to be used, the more money that's going to take. So for instance, if somebody designs a $1,000 dress for a woman who's like a size 2, and they created a dress that's like costs $1,000. Now imagine if they had to create that dress for somebody that's 2 times the size. That's like $2,000. Now this is a very rough estimate, but you kind of get where I'm going with this. I don't agree with the whole fat acceptance movements or fat girls, whatever, from fat movement. And the reason why I say this is because I think everybody wants to be slimmer, but the only reason why they're not slimmer is because they don't know what to do to get slimmer. A lot of people think that you have to go on these crash diets and that's the only way to be slimmer, or you have to starve yourself, or you're just genetically dispositioned to gain a lot of weight just from eating normal. But most Americans do not eat normal. Most Americans eat a SAD diet, which consists of high carb and too high protein, too high fat diet, and eating processed foods, eating meat, dairy, and eggs, and those aren't things that the human body are meant to eat. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me and think I'm crazy, just another crazy vegan, but when you really look at the science behind it, that's the whole reason why so many people are so fat. And it's not because it's natural, and it's not because you need to starve yourself to be slimmer. Because if you look at animals in the wild, and I think a lot of people forget that we're still animals. If you look at animals in the wild, no animals in the wild are obese or overweight or struggling with weight and have to starve themselves to lose weight. So what I don't understand is why people think that is the proper way to lose weight is by starving themselves, and that's the only way you can be slim, and that's not what they want to do, so they just accept the fact that they're fat. But that makes no sense at all. If we're getting fat because of the diet that we're eating, unless we're starving, then maybe the problem is not starving or eating too much. The problem is probably what we're eating. And what we're eating is not meant to be digested by the human body. That's the reason why I'm fat right now. I mean, I went through the whole starving thing and eating a whole lot of meat, where I'm coming from the standard American diet to starving myself to losing weight and then gaining it all again. And once I realized, once I couldn't starve myself anymore, now I'm fat again. And fat acceptance is just going to cause complacency for other people to think that, oh, it's okay to be fat. I'm meant to be fat because I can't lose weight, which is very false, and it's damaging, and it's very untrue. Alright, just as the last thing before I end this video, I'm not saying that anybody who's fat is ugly, because I don't think anybody who's fat is ugly. I think all people are beautiful. But just realize that fat is just an adjective. That's not who you are. You're not fat. Fat is just a problem that you're going through at the moment that you can overcome if you know how to overcome your fatness. The point of this whole discussion really is not for people or to bash fat people, to make them think that they're a bad person or they shouldn't be fat, or, you know, just anything. A lot of people go through these problems in life because that's just how our society has learned. Our society has learned to eat a certain way, and that's the accepted way. To do certain things, that's accepted things, and to be a certain way. But you have to research yourself and figure out what you're meant to do for your body so you can be the healthiest person that you can be, and get rid of the fat adjective that's added onto you. Love yourself enough to change yourself, and so you can be a happy, healthier version of yourself, and not fat, and not be complacent, and not accept what society says is true. Alright, that's all I'm gonna say. Please share this video, let people know, because I really do want to kill this whole fat is, I don't know, fat is nice, you know, the PHAT, pretty hot, thick, all that weird, strange things people come up with. Please just kill that.